I always hide. I've always hidden behind, everything. So I never show myself. And this is a big deal for me to come in front of you and show myself to you. So it's not easy. And every single time I have to do the podcast, I really have to convince myself, talk to myself, work on myself. Hi, all. I'm back with yet another story of my life. So far, we have talked about my ancestors, where they came from, their struggles, their journeys, and about my spiritual and cultural background. This all was like a foundation for me for my life. So today I'd like to shift the attention into me, my childhood, who I was, what are the experiences that I went through and how they shaped me. So I like to focus on our patterns. And going through this, maybe as you listen, you'll think about your own story. Have you ever looked back on how your patterns were formed? And I think that my patterns were like not good enough, which led to people pleasing. And I noticed this in myself just recently. And all these years, that's what I have been going through, going through this feeling of not being good enough, and then doing everything I could to make people like me. And now that I'm going into my past, I'm looking at what happened. Where did it all start? So, been asking my mom and thinking about how this must have happened. And I think I have an idea how this started. So I was the firstborn in my family. And in our culture, that mattered. So my father was the first person to have a child in the family. His sisters had no children. So it was a big thing in my family. Everybody was overjoyed to have a grandchild, and first child and a first grandchild. So of course, and then of course, the way I looked, I was fair and people paid so much attention to me. It was also said that my paternal grandmother was in a very depressive state until I was born, and she became very happy and she got out of depression. So there was a lot of celebration, a lot of adoring and doting over me, and I had so much attention and so much love until I was 4. Guess what happened? My sisters were born, the twins. Now imagine this. Here I am with all this attention, and then the sisters come in, and now there are two. And everybody who saw them would say, "Oh my goodness, how cute. Look at them. They're just, they're identical." And how do you, like they were talking to my mom all the time, I presume, because this still happens to this day. How can you tell you apart? And they're so cute. And they forget me. I was there and I was being forgotten. I love my sisters. And this is not about jealousy or resentment. I love them. It's about that little child inside of me who did not understand, who felt that the child felt that she needed to be a certain way to get attention, that she needed to be special, she needed to be smart, and she wanted to get that attention from her mother and from all the people around her whole family. My mother, God bless her, she really tried. She was also always busy because she had her in-laws to look after. She had to take care of the twins and me and cook and clean and a lot of things that she had to do. So I don't blame her, but that little child did not understand. That little child went into pain. And all my life, I remember going through with all my relationships, with all the people, everything that I did in my life, I went through it. I'm not good enough. And I need to please everyone before they can love me. So I did things for people that would give me attention. I'd give gifts to people. I'd be the perfect daughter who would obey everything my mom said. I was a good girl. I became a very good girl. I followed rules. This is how it all started. And I didn't know this until I started waking up. And I said, wait a minute, what's going on here? 14 years ago, when I first started Infinite Love, I started Infinite Love because I just needed something. I felt empty. I needed purpose. So when it started, and as we brought in speakers and coaches to talk to others and listen to other podcasts, I started waking up and I started realizing that I wasn't loving myself. And this was my awakening. I really, really worked hard on myself. I talked to coaches, to hypnotherapists, really tried to find myself. I want to read something to you. Actually, before I do that, I just wanted to let you know it's just so hard for me to be seen. I've always hidden behind, everything. So I never show myself. And this is a big deal for me to come in front of you and show myself to you. So it's not easy. And every single time I have to do the podcast, I really have to convince myself, talk to myself, work on myself, write things down, what I'm going to say. So it's been a beautiful journey, actually. I want to read something to you. Let's see. Here's what I'm realizing. The more I look back, the more I uncover the why behind what happened, the more I feel something inside me begin to release. And in that release, I see the beginning of a new chapter, a chapter where I didn't have to live by old stories, a chapter where I can live from wholeness, not from wounds. I feel like I'm healing my inner child piece by piece, word by word, episode by episode. And that little girl inside me, she's starting to feel safe. She's starting to to trust again. She's learning her worth was never tied to applause or attention or performance. She's learning that she matters simply because she exists. That is what this work is doing for me. And maybe, just maybe, it can do the same for you. So I ask you, where did your trauma begin? Where did you first learn that you weren't enough? And are you ready, like I am, to rewrite that story? Let's do it. I'd love to hear from you. Tell me what you've gone through. And there's so much. This is not it. And we'll keep talking. Thank you for listening. Quest for Peace, a podcast about navigating outer chaos with inner harmony. Whether you're seeking solace in the midst of life's challenges or simply curious about the profound connection between inner and outer peace, the Quest for Peace podcast is your guide on this transformative expedition.